All right. I am ready to stream. Well, mostly. Just want to get my chat window open on my phone, just in case, you know. You know how that goes, right? Oh, man. Gotta There we go. There we go. It's better. Okay, I am streaming and I have my timers running, so I know my time. That's a phrase, huh? All right. Today is a tired day. Nah, today's good. Today's the 1st of February, and I have a big shift coming down the pipeline. Maybe I'll get into that later, but it means I have a lot of 3D design work that I need to get done and projects to build this month. Now, one of the issues I've been having lately is starting 3D design work, getting caught up in certain implementation details and not finishing the project. This is something I recognize in myself, and it's an actual problem. I need to get through it. So what I'm gonna start doing, instead of worrying about all of the details about, well, so this is a different thing. Instead of worrying about all of the details about my final finished product for my Forge 3D modeling library, what I want to do is make a quick interface that I can use to iterate quickly with 3D design work while kind of outputting the rendering and the 3D model file production to programs like OpenSCAD and FreeCAD. And I want to do that with a little bit of shell calling and potentially scripting. So today I want to hack together some sort of file watcher or something like that. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off exactly, but I'm going to give it a shot and see what I can come up with. At the very least, it could be potentially useful. So, well, okay. Let's start by killing that. And let's just get the new project in place and see what I can do. This is largely irrelevant for now. Where am I at here? Let's quit the session. There we go. This is notes for later. All right, looks like we're pretty much good. Hey, Cobra, how are you doing? Cobra Dre. I still don't know how to say your screen name, but I'm gonna stick with Cobra if you're cool with that. It's easier for me. Good. Glad to hear you're doing okay. That's nice. All right, let's make a new project here. This project name. Little update. You've got Ubuntu on your USB and you're running it off of that. Oh, you're doing a live image. Nice. That's great. That's a really nice way to sample the distribution. You really like it, yeah. That's great. Glad to hear you got something worked out, I should say. That's really exciting. It was bad on VM. Oh yeah, so you never got it to work that well on your VM. Yeah, so I guess you're doing a proper dual boot, except you're not installing anything onto your hard drive. You're running the live image off of the USB directly. Wasn't smooth on VM. Huh, okay. Okay, so this little project, what's the whole idea here? Yeah, it's like dual boot, but not dual booting. Yeah. Right, so probably, let's see if I remember this. You restart the computer and hold either F2 or F12, right? And then you go boot from, and then it's boot from, and you can pick your USB from there. So you can set up anytime the USB is in, it boots from Ubuntu, but if you take the USB out and restart the computer, it boots into your Windows on the hard drive. Yeah, it's a nice, simple way to do things. I like it. Yep. That's how I used to play with distributions and stuff myself. Except, uh-oh, there's an exception. I don't know what to call this project. It's going to be, every time you want to use Ubuntu, you have to do everything from scratch. Yeah, I guess so, right? Because if you install something, it either installs it into memory or doesn't install it onto the USB, right? So you have to do it all every time. Good point. Good point. Yeah, well, it's definitely a safe way to learn how to use it, right? Like all of the, stuff built in by default is, at least you can use that. Doing Manjaro, you don't like it. People are saying Manjaro is ideal for programming. So I think I said this before, don't worry too much about what other people say about distributions. People have their own preferences. Manjaro is fine for programming. Ubuntu is fine for programming. They're both going to be totally okay. You have nothing to worry about. If you're preferring Ubuntu, you just use Ubuntu. It's simple. It's not any better or worse. A lot of programmers might like Manjaro, but it's simply not the only thing you can use, right? So you've got your files backed up. You're 95% sure you want to use that as your main OS. I say go for it. Should be fun. Yeah, my next PC build is going to be some kind of Linux. I might go with Arch, but I actually am not decided on what distro I'm going to use either. You want to do Arch? Well, so Manjaro is Arch, right? It's just got a few things added into it. Okay, this project name. Hey, how's it going, Mike? Glad to see you here. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. Yeah, and Cobra's been in the chat a few times now. He's or they actually. Yeah, sorry. Apologies if there's any gender-related concerns. I do my best, but sometimes I slip up. Anyway, yeah, cool. Yeah, so he is in first year university. He's been talking about picking a Linux distribution and stuff like that. I've said my piece about how I personally think it's not that, you shouldn't worry about it. Just stick with one that you kind of enjoy and learn it and all that kind of stuff. But that's what we've been talking about. Other than that, I've been doing well with other things. I hope you're doing okay there, Mike. Glad to see you in chat. I'm just sitting here trying to come up with a name for this silly little I don't even know what I'm trying to do. The good old days of university. Yeah. So you're scaring you? What do you mean? I mean, I don't mean to scare you. Sorry. If scared of what's in stock for the future. Oh, gotcha. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the future of your life. You know, focus on the present. You know, with a bit of a plan for the future, but ah, you know, prepared for all the sleepless nights. Okay, so I had some sleepless nights, but I can promise you this: the reason I had sleepless nights was pretty much every time due to my own um, decision process around my own time management. All I'm going to say is you don't have to have sleepless nights if you don't want to. Uh, yeah, Mike's got a better insight into all the details after university. I don't quite have a quote unquote traditional trajectory, so everything I say is suspect. No, but the future's wide open. The future's wide open. Oh, I've been sitting at this blank screen for too long. Let's just do. This sucks. My brain is just not not interested in thinking right now, apparently. Actually, Mike, I don't know if you ever mentioned it. I don't know if it came up. Read the Arch Wiki if you want to switch to Arch. Yeah, the Arch Wiki is really a good place to. Project name is what? Because I could not think of anything at all. Okay, so let's save this. What.org. Ta-da! I'm brilliant. Oh my goodness. What is this anyway? This is a tiny project for CLI file watching. The idea is to include this with libraries that you want to run as if it were a CLI tool. Think of having hot code reloading that runs your library. I don't know if this makes any sense. There you go. Hey Mike, I'm curious. Do you sit inside a Linux distro for work, or do you work on Windows? I mean, it's in my it's not that important, but I am just curious now that we're talking about it a little bit. What did I do? Something went wrong? That's weird. I don't understand why there's all these new lines in here. That's not supposed to happen. Oh well. Well, okay. So be it. Okay. Something's wrong here. Sometimes org mode can have some render errors with, like if I do, I don't know, when I collapse headings, sometimes they don't uncollapse properly and then things get a little weird, but things look okay right now. I think that should be fine. Yeah, oh Mike, you're on Debian. You've got a couple Linux servers on Pis that you run. That's cool, that's nice. Never considered Debian. Lots of devs use Windows. It's pretty common in the workforce. Don't feel like you need to use Linux to be considered a developer. Yeah, that's Mike's. You got really a good point there. I said it before. Like technically, like you could be a developer without a computer, right? You could, if you had the patience, you could have a notebook and a pen, right? And you could write legitimate code on a piece of paper. And I mean, obviously at that point you would have to hand it to a typist and have them put it in a computer or something. But like the act of writing the code can arguably be done without a computer. Now doing it on a computer has significant benefits in terms of workflow and stuff like that, but you don't need anything really. Well, you don't need much. You need something. Don't think it's hard to go back to Windows though. If you're used to Windows now, it's probably going to be pretty easy for you to go back and forth quite a bit. So I've used all three of the major OSs plenty. So I'm good at Windows. My favorite is Linux distros, but I also am right now on Mac OS. Personally, Mac OS was the most confusing one for me to learn. But that's because it works quite differently than Windows does. And it's not as, well, it didn't feel as obvious to me as figuring out Linux stuff, but I digress. It doesn't matter that much. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? That's a good question. I think I want to try setup. I was looking up Hawk here. Oop. All right, let's see. Been on Linux for years, easy to go to Windows. You're not as efficient, but you can do the job well enough. Yeah, I find the same. My last job, actually, it's called, I think, Windows Subsystem for Linux. So it effectively you can install pretty much a whole distro inside Windows. And I use this a lot. So I was in this weird situation. It wasn't dual booting or anything, but I was on Windows and I continued to be able to use a lot of Linux command line stuff. So I was actually developing inside Linux, inside Windows. It was like a nested thing. It had its own set of minor problems, but you can even do stuff like that. Everything's all blending together. All right, so what am I trying to do here? I want to see if I can get this library Hawk to work a little bit anyway. So the first thing I'll do is put that in the depths here. I'm going to assume I'm not using Clojure script, so let's hawk it up. Maven version. Oop. There we go. My ability to type is it's just not the greatest. All kinds of issues. Oh well, there we go. Okay, so Hawk is a dependency now. When I launch the REPL, it should download it and be available. Oh, this shift key is killing me. There we go. Yeah, Cobra, there's a lot of things about a Linux OS that either are faster or can be configured to be faster than a lot of Windows stuff. Sometimes it's a little harder to set things up the way you would want, but it's often the case that you can get really nice performance out of moderate hardware. Or better performance compared with Windows. It's not always true, but it is true a lot of the time. It's pretty nice. Okay, so let's require Clojure string seems good. And now let's see if I can get a simple thing running with Hawk here. Hawk.core as Hawk seems fine. And so this is what I'm interested in. They have watchers, so you can specify a file to watch and it'll run a function anytime it changes, I think is how that works, and we're gonna find out. So save this. File exists. Yeah, I know. Isn't that okay? Don't you think that's fine? I'm a little confused here. Okay, let's try this again. Oop. All right, let's remove source, remove test. Okay, so here we go. Saved. What is a horrible name for a project, by the way? I'm gonna change it later, obviously, but my brain is not thinking of cool names, so what is just gonna have to be fine for now. Linux is definitely a smaller footprint than Windows, faster in general. It's up to you. You can put a bunch of bloat on Linux, run nice and slow if that's your goal. Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt, you know, you can make everything go slow if that's your goal. My policy is to install 100% of my software as Electron apps and to run them all simultaneously. That should be nice and fast. So if you want to become a better programmer, you're a beginner, you feel like if you use Ubuntu or Arch, it'll trick your mind into thinking and programming using the terminal and remembering the codes and what they do. Same for Vim. It's harder than IntelliJ, but if you push yourself, you can become a better programmer. I think it's an interesting idea. I think it's something that's not necessarily a bad approach, but one you should just be careful with, right? Like, there's a point, it's like practicing anything that you want to get better at. It can feel difficult, right? But if you insist on practicing the guitar while you're hopping up and down, right? It's more challenging, but the hopping up and down has no bearing on your improvement with guitar, really, right? You could practice and become better at guitar by sitting down on a stool and practicing, right? The hopping up and down is sort of needless difficulty, right? Yeah, Mike's nailed it there. You should focus on writing good code. Choice of tools doesn't define what makes a good dev. Yeah, that's definitely true. I questioning your life? Oh, no worries. So one thing I would maybe say is probably a good thing is forcing yourself to use terminal a little bit. Only because there's a lot of what's a good example? Here, for example, I posted a GitHub gist the other day, and in it I've just got a little note here, so you can run this program here, and right here I just have these lines. And if you're unfamiliar with running things in terminal at all, this is gobbledygook. It doesn't make any sense. So the benefit, in my opinion, to forcing yourself to be in the terminal a little bit, at least for a while, I mean, looking things up and being careful with what you learn, of course, is important. But if you force yourself to do that, there will be a lot of programming related content and stuff that just starts to make a little more sense. So maybe that aspect of what you're planning is not a problem, or is maybe a beneficial thing. But Mike has totally hit the nail on the head. Is yeah, a good dev should focus on writing good code. That's definitely the nugget right there. But this is an example, right? This is just my little code snippet. It's not, super well documented, but there's this little bit in here, right? If you know what different things mean, like chmod plus x, like what does that even mean? It's confusing, right? I didn't write it down. I assume the reader knows or can figure it out. But there you go. That's how you learn that stuff, by working in the terminal and stuff like that. So it's not totally a waste of time, right? Mike's totally correct, though. It's not the tools, it's the programmer. Well, yeah, so it's maybe a cliche, but a poor craftsperson blames their tools, right? And the funny thing there is, it's not that a good craftsperson doesn't use tools or know how to use them effectively. It's that they know which tools are good to use, which tools they can build themselves, which tools, they need and which ones they don't. And the only way to become a good craftsperson is to be comfortable being a bad one first, right? So don't worry about being a bad dev. Worry about what you're learning as you go. Does that make sense? I think it makes a bit of sense. The best craftsmen have the most broken tools and never blame them. I would disagree. I would imagine the best craftspeople have some of the most well-kept tools that you've ever seen. They're usually neat, they're well-oiled, they're sharpened, all that stuff. They're put away when you're done with them. A good craftsman is careful with their tools, but a good craftsperson doesn't blame the tool for a mistake, right? They understand a flaw in execution, or they do understand when a tool is broken, because, sometimes it is the tool's fault, right? If you're using a nail gun and there's no nails left, it's not really your fault or the tool's fault. There's just no nails, there's all kinds of little nuance, right? Might drop out and become an electrician. Nothing wrong with electricians. They're going to be important for a long time. If that's what you care about. It's challenging work too. I have a few cousins that are electricians or apprenticing for that kind of stuff. It's not easy. I can't do it. Apparently I can't even start programs today. I'm just sitting here not doing too much. Sorry about that. I'll see if I can get some work done here. Mike, tools just exist to help the programmers do their job quicker. If you're equal programmers, you're using Vim. IntelliJ, yeah, actually that's a good point. But so produce more code, right, is true, but also not necessarily the goal of writing code, right? Like, what happened here? What did I do? Something may have gone wrong. Hawk/Hawk. Yeah. Okay, I missed something here. You feel like you learn more using Vim? Getting lazy using IntelliJ does half the code. Actually, so yeah, Mike's got it right too. Yeah, Cobra, you know, we you are the master of your own domain, right? If you probably know what's good for you more than any of us do, right? We're just on the internet trying to be helpful. But it is an interesting here's what's wrong. That's not correct. There we go. Let's try that. Fully experienced programmer like myself, I can promise you that I am not a fully experienced programmer. I can promise you that. But your point about feeling lazy with IntelliJ, that it's filling out all the code for you. Yeah, and Mike, I'm sure is actually more experienced than I am, technically speaking. But yeah, so your point about, IntelliJ is filling all the code in for me, that is actually a really good thing to recognize. A really good way to learn stuff is to do a lot of the work yourself, right? Once you understand what IntelliJ is doing for you, then it's nice to have it do it for you. But if you don't know what it's doing or why it's doing it, I think it's actually smart to say, okay, I don't want, okay, computer, you just wait. I need to figure out what you're doing first. So that's some good intuition that you've got there. So yeah, you know, good idea. All right. Now it looks like I actually have finally started a REPL after 20 minutes or so. All right, there we go. All right, I can close this. I can go back here. Let's get something started. Oh man, talking about having trouble how to start things, like that's me every day. Oh yeah, Cobra is studying Java. Yeah, Cobra, Mike knows Java way better than I do, which is to say Mike knows it and I don't. All right, let's try to watch a file. Let's make, oh, wait a second. Let's do, let's tangle this into what okay, so I just made this here what.cljc. I'm just gonna set up a geez, I'm all over the place today. Apologies if none of this makes sense. Let's make a watcher and see what happens. Let's try run something. Hey Cobra, your your thing was auto modded. I'll allow it, but just know that the auto mod is pretty picky with language, so don't be surprised if things get modded. Every once in a while, a little bit of crassness here and there, I don't mind, but be okay, be pretty up. Don't be too gross with your communication, okay? There you go. Spring with Java. React, HTML, SCSS, Postgres. There we go. Okay, a simple watch. Let's try this. Def a hawk/watch. It's a list of things, paths. Let's just watch. Oh, it's watching a whole directory. I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can pass in a file. Let's find out. What.cljc. Handler. Let's just use the one built in here. Okay, so a function takes a context and E for the event. Presumably context is like a stateful thing that you could transform in some way. I'm not sure. That'll be interesting to see. Print line, event. Oh, Mike, this just popped into my head. I noticed the other day that you had, I'm pretty sure it was you that had subscribed to the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I've been swamped last week. I'm hoping to get about a video a week out for a while, and then see if I can do more. I missed last week, so I've got a video or two in the pipeline now, and it's videos are fun to do, but they're not trivial, right? They take more time than I always think, but point is, thanks for the support there. What am I doing here? Gotta support the channel where you can. Yeah, I appreciate it. I do appreciate that. All right, let's see here. Function. Okay, so it prints the context and then returns the context. So I can use this to see what actually gets returned. Let's run this bad boy. Okay. Okay, Cobra, blech. You've got HTML, Java, basics, built a calculator, and craps. A user menu, a menu appeared, pick a sentence and an option. Yeah, you're only scratching the surface, but those sound like fun projects already, which is nice. I think the way that I finally clicked with programming is when I discovered areas that I actually cared about with programming. For myself, it was I'm an industrial designer. I use CAD tools, so I discovered this open source program called OpenSCAD, and it's a script-based programming. Like you write code and it sorry, You write code and it produces a 3D model. And since I discovered this, I was just completely hooked on learning more and more about programming. So Mike's right, you're just scratching the surface, but finding those projects that are exciting for you really makes it like adds fuel to the fire of learning and stuff like that. So keep your eyes open for projects that really get you going, and just keep doing stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. All right, so let's see what A looks like here. It's a watcher object on the thread here. Okay, that's good. So the reason I defed it to A is in case I want to close the watcher, there's an easy way to do it. There's like a symbol I can use. But since I'm watching this now, let's actually make a change to it. Oh, okay, see, that's really cool. So the event happened and it's printing, it's just doing what the handler function wants, which is pretty cool. So how can I use this in an effective way? What can I actually do that's useful? Well, let's keep looking. Let's keep reading through some of this stuff a little bit. It's actually sick. What's sick? Oh, OpenSCAD? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, give it a try if you care about 3D modeling. It's a fun one. But don't let me distract you from your wanting to study and use Linux and all that stuff. One thing at a time is sometimes a good approach too, right? Okay, so filtered watch. Oh, let me see. Okay, so this is nice. It is. What if I remove what COJC? Okay, so it detected a delete. That's cool. And a create. Huh. Okay, so that's nice. Oh yeah, stateful watches use context to initialize the state and return the updated state from the handler. Okay. I'm trying to think if I actually need that. I don't really think I do. The watch I'm trying to make is basically just going to be I feel like I'm complicating this more than I should. I wonder if I should go and just do this, since I do want to do this in the Forge library, to be able to slap together a 3D modeling pipeline here. Maybe it is just wiser to pop the Hawk thing right in here instead. I'm also, this is really old, this local root OCC Java thing. I don't want to delete it because it was a huge pain to actually get working at all, but I don't intend to ever use it. But of course that might be short-sighted to say that, so wait, what did I just do here? What happened? Right, yeah, so this here, I kind of should delete it, but I'm gonna leave it commented out like this and delete it when I'm confident that I have it documented elsewhere. So that's my justification for that. All right, let's go here, GitHub. Oh no, that's wrong. That's not correct. Okay, there we go. You're one click away from pressing erase disk and install Ubuntu. Well, as long as you have your disk backed up, or you're sure that you have all the important files in a place where you can get them, you can go for it if you want to. I'm going to use 10.2 now, too, by the way. All right, let's put Hawk in here. Get this ball rolling in here. I think I was trying to be clever with splitting things out into their own library before I knew what I was doing. So instead, I'll do this. Is 2.11 the right one? Yeah. Save that. Let me kill this session. I'm not going to delete that other project just in case. You need someone to blame. Cobra, that's so mean. You gotta live with your own choices, man. Blame him or thank him? Oh man. No, Mike's got it right though. You can dual boot. You don't have to completely erase your disk. You can partition it 50-50 or whatever. All right, let's just get this going. Forge Proto. Let's do hawk.core as hawk. Okay, so I've got this free CAD experiments thing here. Mike accepts responsibility. Oh boy. Bold. A bold strategy. Okay, so, oh man, I forget how I did this already. I'm sure there's a way to get it done nicely. So I've got this project. It's got a mix of 3 different languages here. It's Clojure. It is a snippet of Python right here. And then it's, what else? Oh boy, I forgot that I did it this way. Oh yeah, and it's also OpenSCAD. Don't have anything on the laptop, it's all good. Yeah, you won't destroy the laptop by installing Ubuntu. That should be pretty safe. I mean, it used to be true, like back in the day when you were trying to install things, you had to kind of manually partition things with gparted or the command line equivalent, and you could end up making like you could end up overwriting the boot sector on your drive and kind of mess things up that way. But I'm pretty sure if you click the install button, it is smart enough on your behalf to not worry about things like that. Okay, so here, SCAD to step is kind of what I'm thinking of. My goodness, I have to be smarter than all this. I'm gonna go to the washroom for a minute. I'll be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. Ooh, Cobra. You installed it. Now a man. Oh boy. The world is your oyster. You can install whatever distro you want. You have the power. Well, there you go. Now the fun begins for you, right? Okay, let's see what I've got here. So I need to refresh my memory as to how I did this. So I have this Pi script here, which doesn't need to be a, wait, maybe it does need to be a Pi script because, oh boy, I just don't know what I'm doing. There's definitely smarter ways to do this, but what I've done here is this exporter script is a string. It's just a template with the file in, file out, and then SCAD to step will take a SCAD block, create the CSG, save it to a file, and then run the exporter script. Oh, I see. It'll save a thing called exporter script to the Pi file and then run that inside the FreeCAD context and then delete all that stuff. So the whole idea is it produces a step file. Okay, so I need to refresh my memory here. I need to try run this just as is and see if it actually does what I want. Okay, it actually builds successfully, which is a good thing. All right, so now let's actually make something. Hey, none of that secret sharing on my chat, okay? You keep that stuff to yourself, all right? Write a password generator for that. Ladies and gentlemen, my brain is just off today. I am really sorry that I'm not getting, useful work done here, but, it's just not happening. I GitHub SCAD CLJ. I want to remember here's what I want to do. I want to make a sphere step file and open it in FreeCAD. Let's see if I can make that happen. If I can, then I can go back and make Hawk do some kind of file watch and automatically export to a step file and a CSG file every time I save the script so that I get more feedback from that. You don't regret anything yet? There's no reason to regret installing Ubuntu as an operating system. Even if you don't like it, it's not something to regret. You've learned what you do and don't like, right? All right, so SCAD CLJ. I have to remind myself the available outputs. I'm pretty sure sphere is, yeah, sphere with the radius. Okay, so let's do /export has earth did I do this? I've forgotten. Okay, so right CSG, I think this will work. No, it doesn't. Does this have to be a string? Come on. I used to... Refer all to the model, maybe? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so if I do right CSG of sphere 5. Okay, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. Might go for a run now. Need to clear my mind. It's a big life decision I just made. Yeah, go for a run if you want to go for a run. We appreciate you tuning in and chatting. It's always enjoyable. Bundle up. Make sure it's not too cold if you're going on a run. I'm looking out my window here and it's snowing right now. It's -4 degrees Celsius if you're American. -4 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know what, 30? It's cold and raining. 6 degrees. Cobra, is it 6 degrees Celsius over there? Fahrenheit? I think 6 degrees Fahrenheit would be like very cold, right? Probably 6 degrees, not 6 degrees Celsius because it's raining, not snowing. Yeah. I figured it out by by logic. Man, can you imagine 6 Fahrenheit? That would be quite cold, actually. Thought you guys were American. I am Canadian myself. I think Mike, if I remember correctly, is somewhere on the east side of America. Close enough. Unfortunately, American. Oh. No wonder I'm so nice. Well, you know, so it's definitely a Canadian stereotype that we're polite and stuff like that. I can promise you that it's not actually true across the entire population, but I do like to be kind and helpful where possible. I know plenty of Americans who are as well. I know plenty of Canadians who aren't, plenty of Americans who aren't. It's not really like kindness and stuff like that, I think, is evenly distributed amongst the whole population of the earth, you know? Condolences for being American. Ooh, boy. The truth is coming out. It is weird. So, you know, Canada and America have similar cultures, but they do have different cultures. I lived in America for a bit. It's subtle differences, but the differences are definitely there. If you ask someone who's lived in either country for a while, there's little things that you notice. Usually nothing major, just kind of attitudes a little bit. But being Canadian, we pay a lot of attention to American news and politics and stuff like that. So all the jokes, all like, I know what's going on, right? At least in part. So I just hope you all are staying sane and staying healthy, right? That's really the thing. And yeah, if the Canadian stereotype is that we're kind and helpful, you know what? I don't want to be a counterpoint to that. So I'm going to keep trying. All right, let's get some export here. Let's do something useful for once, huh? All right, so what I need to do here is if I run, it was here, if I execute the Py script, so I'm in the export namespace where I'm just testing this stuff out. Okay, here I'm gonna run scad to step file. I want to save it to out.step, and I want to run the scad block, which is sphere. I'm gonna make it 10. I think this will work, but I'm not 100% sure. Cobra, you'd like to migrate to Canada? Oh, Mike, rest in peace. You like the weed? Yeah, they legalized across all of Canada. They legalized marijuana. It's cool. It's not crazy different. Like, honestly, you know, I have parents who so I'm not conservative in nature at all. I am quite left leaning, but my parents are less so. They call themselves conservatives, which is like kind of like the Republican Party a little bit. 100% you'd love to move to Canada? Well, you can. I mean, it's not super easy. It's kind of, it can be tough to get like legal residence and all that stuff. No weed is illegal here. It's legal kind of in some states, right? Anyway, my point was my parents, they before it was legalized here, they talked about, they were just a little worried that things would maybe get out of hand, or they were wondering it would be a little they were just a little scared of what might happen. But, you know, it's been over a year now since it's been legalized, and like if you didn't care or smoke before, like it so doesn't change anything except benefit by making pretty benign things just not criminal, right? So there's less superfluous reasons for people to be imprisoned, which in my opinion is a very good thing. But yeah, that my personal observation is not much has changed. I mean, the biggest difference is in this area where I live, there's a lot of greenhouses, and some of them grow marijuana now, and you can smell it. That's kind of the worst thing, because I don't typically love the smell. It's a good source of taxable product too. Oh, absolutely. So there's still like, you know, there's still like illegal supply, but a lot of people are like, you know, since I can buy it legally, I can guarantee that I can just go to the same place. It's going to be available. Just the simplicity is really nice, right? Oh, Cobra, you're not American. Oh, you're in the EU. Are you in Amsterdam? Amsterdam being a city in the Netherlands. Or where else is it legal? It's not legal in Germany, is it? I don't think so. Belgium? You're laughing at me now? Oh, you said illegal. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Oh, you're in Ireland. Sorry, I misunderstood the message you sent earlier. That's my bad. I've never been to Ireland. It seems like a cool place to go. Seems pretty nice. Small country that no one speaks of. I've heard plenty about Ireland. Man, we're international right now, I guess, eh? All right. So I ran this. I think out.step exists. It does indeed. So let's open, no application, eh? Okay, well, let's launch FreeCAD then. Oh, let's do it like this, FreeCAD. Whoops. There we go, please. Yeah, Mike, I totally want to visit Ireland too. You know, when this good old pandemic is over, and travel is not to be feared anymore, that would be a nice place to visit. All right, let's see. What can I do here? File. Oh, do I have to do this? Let's go to the part workbench. Okay. Ugh, the file system is, I don't know why. I don't know what I've done to my Mac OS, but anytime I have to do file exploration with a UI element like this, it's just slow, and I don't like it. It frustrates me. I don't want it. I don't like it. Ugh. Hey, there we go. That's a sphere. That's a 3D model. There we go. We're getting somewhere. See, I'm capable of producing output. It just took way longer. There we go. All right, so I know that works. Now it would be fun to get a slightly different approach to viewing here. Let's do open SCAD. I think. Whoop. Mike, the reasons you were just talking about. Oh boy, can my Windows cooperate, please? Ladies and gentlemen, chaos. My goodness. I agree with all the reasons you were talking about for wanting to visit a place, the culture and all that kind of stuff. Have you ever been outside of America? Are you asking me, Cobra, or Mike? For myself, I've been to the UK. I've been to Germany. I actually worked in the Netherlands for 2 years. I've been to America a bunch of times. What else? Where else have I gone? Oh, I've been in France. I've not been to Ireland yet, like I said. And Canada's huge, and I haven't explored enough of that yet. So there's a lot of exploring I want to do yet. Currently learning Japanese so you can speak when you go someday. Oh, Mike, I'm super jealous. That sounds awesome. I shamefully am not great, or have not historically been great at learning other languages. We learned French in high school, but I've dropped it. Like, I haven't kept up with it. It's on my list of important things to learn. But Japanese has been an interest of mine as well. Just to get out of the normal romance and Anglo-based languages and stuff like that. It seems cool to me. Okay. All right, where is this file even located? Let's try to figure that one out. Forward. Oh, it's right here. That's cool. All right. Oh, geez, I opened it twice. Ugh. Sorry for all the window havoc here. All I'm trying to do is have some kind of visual indication. Okay. Right, so let's try to spit out slash scad dot scad. Oh, I have to wrap this in a right CSG. Yeah, okay, there we go. So that's working. So that's pretty small. Let's make a bigger, yeah, there we go. You're interested in the Japanese language goes back to when you learned about samurai, feudal Japan, and then started researching the country and culture. Mike, you're a man of the world. That sounds amazing. All right, so here I I present the bootstrapped approach that I'm trying to get here. So I guess I should maybe provide a tiny bit of context as to what I'm actually trying to do in general. So my Forge library, it needs a ton of work. And I have this problem where I start doing some 3D design work with it, and then I run into an implementation detail and get derailed and don't finish the design work. This is a flaw in me, and I'm trying to work around it. But this month is the last month I'm living in this apartment. In fact, I'm moving to Vancouver in March. And so I want to, I want / need to design a lot of modular furniture so that my move can be a little more smooth. I don't want to, I like the minimalist lifestyle approach to owning things. I'm not perfect at it, but in general, I like to design my own bits of furniture and keep them compact. So, since I have to move at the end of the month, sometime in March, I have basically this month to do a little bit of design work. They don't have to be like the most amazing designs in the world, but I want them to be good for fit for purpose. So instead of me fumbling around trying to get my Forge library exactly perfect, what I can do is have the main features of the Forge library in terms of the transforms, in terms of the shape types, and in terms of some features like weldments and extrusion and stuff like that. I can have the data structures and data flow with that ready, and then I can pipe it through using some basic scripting. I can pipe it through to something like OpenSCAD and FreeCAD to do the 3D visualization. So I can get good design files out of my library without having the complete implementation. So that's the reason I want to have a workflow set up using a watcher and stuff like that. So that's the motivation for the month. Things might get a little hectic on my side of things, but hey, that's the way it goes. I better do a vlog, you say? Oh, maybe. We'll see. And now, in other news, you're officially an Ubuntu user. Well, congratulations. You are now a Linux penguin, right? There you go. You blame Mike. Yeah, it's all Mike's fault that you successfully installed Ubuntu. All right, so you played no part in this. Da, 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 da. I'm just trying to conceptualize how I want to actually do this. It looks so beautiful, Ubuntu. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's okay, I'm gonna set up let's call it design file. I'm gonna set up, this is the file to watch. Okay, begin source Clojure, and I want to tangle this file to design.clj. C is fine, and this is going to contain well, let's give it a namespace and pull in the requirements. Require oh, this is what this does exist in a different namespace. I see. Okay, let's pull in those for now. Load up's not the fastest, but it's running buttery smooth. Well, that's way more important then, right? Just never turn off your computer. I'm joking, but oh yeah, hard drive or SSD will make a bit of a difference there. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, the SSD upgrade is like a really simple upgrade that makes your computer feel pretty snappy if you can manage it. SSDs, I actually haven't looked at the price in a while, but I think they're more affordable now too, right? Oh, okay, so instead of as SCAD, I do want to refer all. The only reason, so normally, Mike, maybe you have advice on this actually, I don't know, but refer all works on the Clojure side of things, but it does not work in Clojure script. I wonder if, I don't know if you encounter that as a problem, and if you do, what you do to counter it. Like, I mean, obviously you can just list out all of the functions you need to refer, but it seems a little clunky sometimes. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about. Like if I were to run this namespace in Clojure script, it would error out on this all keyword here, but it works in everything else. So here I want to create a sphere of 5. Let's actually, no, we'll do def design sphere. Let's do 50 is good. And I want to, on this, actually, no, I don't. how do I want to do this? Seems like it's not something that'll be implemented for design reasons. Here's a link. I'm looking at it now for a second, actually. So it's intentionally not possible. It's just bad style. The only reason it hasn't changed is because the core team wants to preserve backwards compatibility where possible. Why is it bad style? Oh, okay. So here, this makes a lot of sense. So using a refer all can introduce a static phase separation. So if you require refer all in a namespace now and then add a different function or symbol later, it might conflict with a symbol already defined in the namespace. So using all means you must be able to enumerate the closed list of declarations or risk interactive and partial recompilation behavior. It's a problem if you have macros especially. Okay, so that actually makes sense. I mean, you could maybe write a macro to do it for you, but it might not be great to do so. Well, yeah, so Mike, the writing a macro to do it is it would cause precisely the problem that the responses we're talking about in that link there. So it makes sense. So I guess the reason I wonder about how what am I asking? So let's imagine that this clj.model has 12 functions that I need to pull in, and I don't want to have an alias for the SCAD thing. Like I don't want to do as SCAD, right? Although it's not bad to do so. It's just like if I have to refer and then manually put in a bunch of different symbol names here, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to refer all for the sake of this little experiment, but I understand the reasoning behind it, and I love Clojure because people have those strong opinions and clear explanations. So that's really good. Why are YouTube tutorials always Indian people? I mean, that's a bit of a meme, right? They're not all that, but they a lot of them have pretty clear explanations a lot of the time. I mean, sometimes not, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. My sister and her husband had a daughter like during the pandemic. So we can't see her a ton, but we have a group chat on Signal, and my sister sends us pictures and videos of our niece all the time, and she is just the cutest little thing. I go crazy every time she sends pictures. So if I'm distracted, it's because I have the cutest niece in the world. No debate. It's definitely just the cutest. What just happened here? There we go. Hate kids personally? Well, you haven't met my niece. She's the best. No, I know what you mean. Like, being around kids can be tiring and all that stuff. But you know what? Kids are necessary in terms of if you enjoy people who are older and adults and stuff like that. They were kids at one point, right? So it's kind of like a necessary step in the process. The older you get, you'll start to love them. Maybe. I mean, having kids or interacting with kids just isn't for everyone, and I don't think that's a problem. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, other than like if there's a kid talking to you in public, it's like nice to respond to them and treat them with respect, right? Like, but that's just basic human decency. Okay. Let's see here. So I have to get going at 4 o'clock. So you know what? This has been a low productivity day, I am afraid to admit. So this is the file to watch. And let's set up, this is the watcher. But this is not getting tangled anywhere. Excuse me. Oh, this also doesn't need to be in here. This only needs to be, maybe let's make a new namespace. Actually, it's been a planning day is all. Yeah, you know what? I'll take that. That's that's a good way to put it. Hey, looks like got a few viewers in there. If there's anyone who just tuned in right now, feel free to say hi in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Cobra. Jeez, like you haven't been here this whole time. So helpful. I'm just bugging you. All right, let's do forge dot watcher. This is just, so this is not being tangled. So this namespace is ephemeral as far as I care. It's just for testing. So I normally there's a way in the Hey, DeFornica, how's it going? You were working on making a 3D model of your garden shed in Blender yesterday. Ooh, that sounds like fun. So I actually, I mean, I used Blender before. Blender is on my long list of things to learn properly. But I've never got around to learning it all in detail. It's definitely a powerful program. I do know that much. Maybe you'll try do a bit in OpenSCAD. Have you used OpenSCAD before? I happen to really love it. There's another, you can use FreeCAD if you're interested in this sort of thing. FreeCAD is a full parametric 3D modeler. It's all open source. It can be hard to use. OpenSCAD, if you're a good programmer or you have familiarity with programming anyway, it might be a fun way to start. That's all up to you, of course. Haven't used it, just found out about it now from my stream. Okay, cool. Would you like me to show, let's see here. Let's run OpenSCAD. Oh, well, that was silly of me. Let me try to open a different window, please. My computer is slowing me down today. Cobra says to use paint. I mean, if you're masochistic, you know, he's not wrong. Like, you could totally do it. you could painstakingly go pixel by pixel. Please open. Okay, let's do this. All right, so OpenSCAD, if I view, he's high on installing Linux, don't listen to him. All right, here's the editor. Okay, so Um, the syntax of OpenSCAD is it's personally not my favorite. Let's see here. But that doesn't mean it's not powerful. Let's see if I can mix this up just a bit here. So radius 100, you can do 200 and what is it? F5 refreshes the view. You can do translate. I'm trying to remember the syntax of this. I'm so used to Clojure syntax that I can't totally remember. Yeah, that worked. So OpenSCAD, it might the learning curve might be there. Might be pretty big, but it is OpenSCAD is meant to be used as a like a CAD modeler, as like an engineering type modeler, right? Whereas Blender is far more suited for animation or video game, asset creation, that kind of stuff. OpenSCAD is what a lot of original open source 3D printer models were built in. So you get kind of the intent of OpenSCAD is much more the kind of project you're thinking of using it for. Something like making a 3D model of a shed is, at least in theory, perfect for something like OpenSCAD because it's totally meant to be precision placement, precision manipulation, and transformation. Whereas Blender, it's really good for making organic shapes and stuff like that, but it's a little harder to use it for CAD modeling. Now you can, right? You can make it do what you want, but this might actually be more in line with the goals you're trying to achieve. So there's also cylinder. I can do a radius of, let's do 40 and a height 100. Let's try that. No, not real. Oh, see, this is my problem. I use Clojure so much, and you don't need to put commas between things, right? Because you just write a list directly. Oh my goodness, I mess things up all the time. You can pair different transforms together. So if I rotate with 0, 45, 0. Oh, again, I need to pop these in like this. I think that's valid syntax. Yes, it is. So there you go. Using very simple transforms and stuff like that, you can make some pretty neat shapes. There's one more really useful tool if you want to learn OpenSCAD. Here's a very powerful thing to do. You should figure out how to do I think it's just called subtract, right? Oh no, difference. Yes, there we go. So difference is you cut shapes with other shapes. So let's see if I can make this example clear. Let's make the radius of this one smaller. And let's see if this works. Oh, there's an error. Oh yes, I didn't close. I am being very poor with my formatting of everything here. Oh, that's right. So here you can see it's kind of Z fighting, but there's a hole cut using. So what happened here is I did the difference of these two cylinders. So using one cylinder, cut away the other one. So the order does matter. You get a different result here. And to fix the Z fighting here, let me change that ever so slightly. So you need to do something like this. So I need to make, oh, I also need to do this, translate. Let's translate it 0, 0, -1. And that should work fine like this, I think. There you go. So this is a useless example, but you can see how, or you might be able to see how the syntax of OpenSCAD is maybe a little bit confusing, at least at first, but still pretty, like the concept is quite powerful. So I would at least say, so maybe give it a try with like, okay, my shed, I want it to be, at the very least, I want a box shape that's these different dimensions. And you can give, I think you can just do variables like this. So let's actually make it 30 here. So this cylinder, I want to be A radius. No, let's make this A -10. And we'll make this A. Is this gonna work? Yes. So there you go, right? If you make your basic shape and then you pull out key variables and put them at the top, you can kind of make parametric models with major dimensions up at the top of the file that make it really easy to change things up front, right? So I could also, you can imagine I might want the height value to be up here as well. And that gives you some dials to tweak your design as you go. So you can imagine if it's a shed, right, you might want the footprint dimensions, so the width and the depth of the shed, and then the height of the shed as well, and then have every other part of your model be reference those global dimensions, so that you know when you change them, the whole model will adjust its size according to those. It's a powerful way to do design parametrically like that. It's not the only way, of course, but it's a pretty fun way to do it. So here, right, if I make h equal h, oh, that's maybe a bad name, but it should work. Let's do h plus 2. And then here we just keep it -1, and that should work for me. So there we go. I've just made a parametric cylinder like that. So give it a shot. It's fun to use. It's not for everyone, but it is really quite useful. Caveat with OpenSCAD, there's not necessarily an easy way to, if you need it for real drawings, I don't know what your output requirements are. It outputs STL files, so good for 3D printing. And there are ways that you can get it, you can use it to make 2D drawings, but it's not like, it's not trivial to just say, okay, here's my model, automatically spit out a 2D drawing with dimensions. That is not necessarily something you get out of the box easily. So, you know, keep those sorts of things in mind. But it's a fun way to do 3D modeling, I can promise you that. All right, that's an impromptu tutorial. Let me see what I can do in about 10 minutes. So, having shown a little bit of how OpenSCAD works directly, yeah, hopefully that's a little bit insightful for you. Of course, you'll learn more by trying it out yourself. I mean, you really lose nothing by downloading it. It's a small program. There's good, when you first launch it, there's like examples that you can open and just poke around and change. So you can learn a few things there. But yeah, hopefully you find something that does the trick for you. Maybe it isn't OpenSCAD, but maybe it is. So I spent all that time talking about the syntax, and I'm here using a different library. I've mentioned this before, SCAD CLJ by someone named Matthew Farrell. It's a Clojure library that converts Clojure code into, or it compiles Clojure code into a SCAD file, basically. So here, if I pop this watcher log here, and if I do write SCAD. I pass it in this data structure. It knows how to, oh, well, I thought it knew how to. There we go. So you can, this data structure is generated when I run, if I run sphere, it's a function with a radius 5 that returns this data structure. It's got a keyword and then a map of data passed in. And then I run that through write SCAD. I can run a whole Clojure syntax tree through write SCAD, spit it to a file, and get the output. So that's what I'm doing here. This library is not my own, just to be clear. It's Matthew Farrell's, and this workflow I've seen I think he did it in 2015. He showed a workflow where he used OpenSCAD, but he used Clojure to write all the code, and he used this library. So I personally prefer this because I like writing in Clojure. Seems a little more intuitive, but OpenSCAD works just fine too. And all I'm trying to do before I leave is get a watcher going here. So def watch. No, that's a bad idea. There we go. We'll just call it that. So many what, Cobra? So this design watch is going to be hawk/watch, and I'll give it literally the simple watcher for now. It's just this. But it needs its own path, which is going to be design.cljc. So maybe Vim wasn't the smartest idea. Do you need a tip on how to exit Vim? All right, so let's say you're in Vim. I'm trapped in Vim. Oh no, help. Right? So if you're stuck and you can type in Vim, but you're not, like, you're confused, if you press the escape key, just press it a few times. You only need to press it once. Pressing the escape key puts you into not the insert mode. I forget what it's called, like edit mode or move mode or something like that. And then if you need to exit, you press escape a few times, and then you type colon, and then you can type Q for quit, and then you can type exclamation point, and that will force a quit without saving. So if you're stuck in Vim, that's how you can get out. Not sure if that's helpful for you. Where are the files saved? I mean, so whatever folder whatever directory you're working in. So it depends on where you've opened Vim. So if I touch example.txt, I'm in a folder here called Forge. It's in my development folder. I have example.txt here. I can do, if I type in my terminal here, vim example.txt, that opens the example file in Vim. And now if I hit escape, colon WQ stands for write and quit. It saved the file. And now if I open in Emacs, just to show you, example.txt, this is an example file here. The file has been changed. So if I go once more, vim example.txt, if I do insert, again, I'm not the best Vim editor, by the way. I don't use it. I just know enough to not get trapped in it. This is another edit. Escape, write. No write since last change. Oh, right. And then I have to refresh this. Oh, there we go. So there we go. The file's changed here. I forget how to refresh. Oh boy, things are getting a little out of hand on my end here. Save it. No changes need to be saved. I don't know how to refresh on the Vim side actually, but I'm gonna quit this and remove example.txt. Buffer name to refresh. Oh, well, I mean, I already deleted and closed it, so I'm not going to worry about it right now, but that is good to know. See, Cobra, even I don't know what I'm talking about. I only know a few things. All right, so I started the watcher, and let's put in the snippet that kills the watcher too, just to be safe. I don't need a polling watcher. Hawk/stop. Hopefully that works. Maybe not. Oops. Gonna watch a tutorial. Good luck. That's a good place to start for sure. It's gonna take a while to learn it, but you'll get there. Absolutely. All right, so let's try sphere 150. Okay, so the watcher does seem to be off, which is what I was hoping for, but now let's turn it on and see if this indeed makes a change. Yeah, okay, so stuff is happening. That's good. So let's stop it again, and let's try. Let's see if I can make this. Well, let's be really blunt with it here. Let's spit to out/scad.scad, a great file name if I've ever seen one. The result of write wait a sec, I have to do design.cljc. Let's push that through slurp, and then we'll do read string. So this is dangerous, but let's see if it works. I'm not sure if this is going to work the way I want it to. Oh, I also messed up the Was Cobra blaming Mike for stuff again? Shame, for shame. All right, let's see if this will work. I don't know if it will, but let's find out. How about that, eh? Oh, wait. Uh-oh, what happened now? Oh, yes. Document's been modified. Let it be modified, eh? Please? Huh, I guess it's not working the way I want it to. Well, let's try something else. Let's do before I do this, I should probably test that this function actually is going to work the way I want it to, right? Like that seems pretty important. Oops. Let's try then just to well, okay, let's do this in the REPL here. Oh, I'll be right back though. Gotta check something. All right, I don't have a lot of time left, so I just want to see what I'm actually doing here, whether or not I can make this work even at all. So we'll do this one little step at a time here. I'll slurp in the file design.cljc. You have an Indian man helping you on YouTube right now? Can't go wrong with that. Oh, maybe I need that. So if I do read string of this result, does it spit out? Yeah, okay, so that seems pretty good. If I run, oh, of course, so I didn't actually transform this. I would still need to do write scad on the result of this, right? And I would have to do it I probably have to wrap this in a quote. Ooh, not quite. All right, let's see here. At this point, you'll get an Indian accent? Well, that's a great accent. Oh, what? Geez. I'm being a little silly today. Sorry. Okay, so here. I wonder, this might work. So I thread the file, slurp, read the string, and then I do write scad here. And that gets spit to the out.scad file. So let's try that again. So let's stop the watch. Oops. Apparently, ooh, tragic. For reference, oh, yeah, Cobra, Mike's got a great resource there. Okay. Kill the watch, start this one here. Now, the moment of something. Let's save this. Oh, hey. Errors. All right. Da-dum. Well, okay. Oh, right. Well, I am going to run out of time. So this is going to be it for me for the day. Like Mike said, mostly planning. I'll take that. It's better than nothing. Um, I'm going to fiddle with this watcher tonight as my YouTube video exports. So maybe I'll have a clear idea of what's going on. And my hope is I can start in full force my 3D design work on stream and off stream starting tomorrow for my big move in March. We'll have to see. I have to take things one step at a time, but I do need to make some kind of progress. So here's hoping. But for right now, it's getting close to time for me to go. I have to go hit the bunker and do a workout. That's the bunker's what we call the gym that we built, but that's another thing. Cool. Have a good day. See you tomorrow if you are able to stop by. Well, I'll be streaming tomorrow, and I hope anyone who can swing in and enjoy and join us in the chat. I always really enjoy that. So, thanks everyone for chatting. It's always been great. Have a good one. I'll be on my way, and I'll be back tomorrow. Full day off tomorrow. Very nice. Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna head out for the night. Bye.